a rural social entrepreneurial program supported by Maharaja Group at grassroots level. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Shaman Daniels.
I want to share a few thoughts about Gammadda. The decades that the media has spent in rural Sri Lanka gave us some incredible insight, and that insight included the incredible and urgent need to develop rural infrastructure. Little rural bridges and roads and schools and things like that would immediately impact rural villages. Now, if you want to change the trajectory Sri Lanka is headed in, it's really super important that we understand the complex nature of this nation. So we understood that framing this problem and trying to understand how we can make it a little easier for kids to get to school, for farmers to get their produce out to market was important. And highways were being built and there was massive investment on very serious infrastructure. But we did notice that there was a need to resolve some of these really rural communal problems. Now, a long time before all of the buzzwords that we use today, sustainability and technological innovation, let's just remind ourselves, Sri Lankans, that we mastered something rather incredible and remarkable. Our ancients were able to hold rain, guide water, nourish soil, and build a system that sustained our civilization across thousands of years. I'm talking about our ancient hydraulic system. Now, this is important for what it is. Many thousands of years ago, our ancient engineers developed systems, hydraulic systems, that not just served communities then, but still serve this nation. There's no man-made system in the world that was built 3,000 or even 4,000 years ago that continues to serve mankind to this day, other than the Sri Lankan Vava. Now, this technological marvel is our heritage. And in fact, it is actually our philosophical tradition. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly to reach out to the Dhammapada, where the Buddha brings out this beautiful image of a bee that takes what it needs from a flower without destroying it, without hurting it. But the very act of taking results in pollination. It results in more flowers. Now, this is the philosophical tradition on which this nation is founded on. And I think it's important to recalibrate once in a while and understand and remind ourselves that while there is a lot we can learn from the world, there is also something we can teach the world. We've been doing this for thousands of years. And this is the spirit of Gammadda. What is Gammadda? Gammadda began as a simple attempt to resolve the problems that we were seeing in rural Sri Lanka. How can we build a bridge? How can we build a school? How can we build a little rural road? Well, we started by listening to people, gathering data, and then we did three important things. We democratized the process. We needed to understand what kind of skin in the game the communities that would benefit from all of this would actually give us. And so all of the hard work, the effort was actually put in by villagers themselves. We Ubered the funding. So all of the funds and the support that is required to do all of the work comes from people themselves. Now, this is why our philosophy is important. This incredible philosophy of dhanaya, of giving what you have, that exists in Sri Lanka, that every Sri Lankan present here today saw when the Ditwa cyclone hit us. When people who already had so little gave so much. Tapping into that incredible heritage was the success of Gammadda. It's been around now for about 20 years in one form or another, but today it is Sri Lanka's largest rural development movement, and we have students from all around the world. Brown University, Oxford University, the Clinton School of Public Service coming down here to Sri Lanka to study Gammadda, to try to understand how this incredible movement actually works. How do roads and bridges and schools and water purification plants get built almost magically? And that is the magic of understanding this philosophy. Now, it's really important that as Sri Lanka heads into this, hopefully this future of growth and scalability, that we remind ourselves that we are owners of a heritage of the hardest kind of scalability that there is, and that is growth without depletion. Growth without depletion. Let's always remind ourselves of that little simple story that the Buddha taught us in how we address and we achieve a future as a nation, that potential as a nation. And that is honestly the story of Gammada. Thousands of years ago, our ancients converted rainwater and nourished the soil. Today, the ideas that we share with each other today will create real impact for the future. Gammada was an idea that was born a few decades ago and today is creating real impact across Sri Lanka in a very physical way and hopefully across the world soon.